We're getting into emotional stuff. That wasn't even in the script, but I think I'm going to include it anyway. We're starting to hit a lot of games that just really hit my emotions in ways that I just haven't had to face yet when making this series so far. Okay, actual video time. Whether your first Yakuza story was the original or Yakuza 0, I think there is a universal desire that everyone coming out of those games wants. We want a story where Kiryu has to go up against an actual, genuine, physical challenge. A person who can go blow for blow with him and you feel like they could actually win. It just feels like something the series would naturally build to. Strangely, in the modern day, Yakuza 1 and 2 have kind of been roped into this newly declared trilogy, along with the prequel Yakuza 0. And if I may grossly overgeneralize for a moment, if Yakuza 0 was the mental trial of Kiryu, and Yakuza 1 is the emotional trial of Kiryu, then Yakuza 2 and its remake Yakuza Kiwami 2 finally gave us the physical trial of Kazuma Kiryu. Not only is he now being challenged by the Dragon of Kansai, but Kiryu's clan also faces a powerful invading force. At times, this game can feel challenging in gameplay and overwhelming in narrative stakes in the best possible way. I think some future Yakuza games can take the cake in providing the largest stakes offered in the series, but Kiwami 2 still feels the biggest to me. It feels the most epic because of how much of a leap it was over the games I had played to that point. And this is coming from a guy who really isn't that into action-based storytelling, as I've discussed before. I'm far more interested in character, and this early on in the series, I was curious to see how the story planned to develop Kiryu. Right from the jump, he seemed like a very agreeable, morally sound guy, and now he's got quite a bit of accomplishments under his belt. I couldn't help but think, is there really 7 games worth of storytelling to be had with this guy? So, while he's facing perhaps the biggest threat yet, I'm glad that there is some outstanding exploration into who he is, how his buttons get pushed, and how he approaches problems both physical and emotional. Seeing him navigate what I thought was one of the best romance plots I've ever seen in a game greatly informed the character, and demonstrates the value of getting to come back and explore a familiar person in new ways game after game. By the end of the story, I saw the potential. I saw why this guy needed so many more stories to fully realize what this character is meant to do and represent. At times, even providing a mirror to the player and the flaws that might be at play in their mentality. You want to fight, right? And man, jumping from Kiwami 1 into Kiwami 2, it's impossible to not notice the change in engine. The Dragon engine has been a beautiful piece of software for the Yakuza series, providing visuals that can contend with some of the best in the Western game market. And a physics-driven combat system that is so fun to mess around with. Chucking people into the river has never been easier. Being a fairly modern entry in the Yakuza series, Kiwami 2 feels so smooth to play compared to the entries in the series around it. Moving between the various game systems is usually seamless as you transition in and out of combat, in and out of a building, in and out of minigames and subquests. The Kiwami remakes have been a massive boon to the Yakuza series. Nowhere in Kiwami 2's DNA do I detect the genes of a PlayStation 2 game. And it's just great knowing that this Kiwami format of remaking old Yakuza games is so phenomenal that there's no way they're just gonna stop doing it with Yakuza 2, right? Right? That'd be hilarious. I'm glad that's not gonna happen. Oh wait, I didn't even mention the Majima Saga, a whole side story added that is basically the reason this feels like the trilogy closer of the Zero trilogy. Yeah, playing as Majima again. That's cool. That's a better note to end this segment on. Kiwami 2 is a bit of a sleeper pick to people outside of the series. It doesn't get as much attention as some other better selling entries, but for anyone who's played it, you know, it's one of the good ones.